Hey, good morning. Welcome to Bright Outdoors. I'm going to do a quick video on the top tips that I have for pre-season before you're out getting ready to go fishing again. Now, some of us in the Northwest, we really don't put our boats away. I do maybe for several months, but also with the intent of possibly pulling it out on a good ocean window or crabbing or whatnot. But you know, some people do put it away and they let it sit. Now, if you're pulling your boat out, or regardless in that kind of downtime off season for your main boats, I have a pre-season list I'd like to go over and things that I check on my boat to make sure that it's up to snuff when springers hit. Now, the first tip I have is make sure your engines are serviced. Make sure you've done your annual services. It is very important to make sure, even if you're not at 100 hours on, like, say, your main motor per each year, you still should change it. The thing is, we're running those motors at extremely high RPMs, and that oil does deteriorate, and you want to make sure that you're protecting your investment through services. So do that oil change, do that full service on the main, on the kicker, especially on the kicker. Also, do not forget to check your fuel water separators, your fuel filters, part of your service. I highly encourage running stable in your boat at all times, including if you're running non-ethanol. Whenever you're filling up your boat, I strongly encourage stabilizer, no matter what. Non-ethanol, premium, regular, it doesn't matter. It is such cheap insurance to just make sure your fuel system is at least somewhat protected. Even if you have to, something happens, let's say you break your leg. Oh crap, I forgot to put stabilizer in and the boat sits for 3 months. Just put it in. It's going to save you a lot of headache in the long run. You won't even think about it. You just add it in. It's a little extra cost for a lot of less headache in the long run. And trust me, I've had a conversation with some marine mechanics before, and they actually said a lot of the repairs, the fuel system repairs they see are from guys who run non-ethanol but have never run a fuel stabilizer. A fuel stabilizer is not only to protect from ethanol, it is to protect everything, to clean, to lubricate, to maintain the entire system. So don't assume just because you're putting non-ethanol in that you don't need it. I highly recommend doing it. It's not that much money. It's going to save you headaches in the long run. All right, here's one that gets neglected, I think, quite a bit. Trailer maintenance. Are your lights working? Is everything greased up? Do you have wheel bearings you need to grease? Are they oil bath? Do you need to do less maintenance? Check your tire, check your tires with a gauge. Make sure that you don't have sidewall wear. Make sure you don't have anything popping out. Just run through and look. Make sure there's no cracks. Make sure there's no breaks. Inspect, just to do a general walk around inspection. If you've got brakes, inspect those brakes. Make sure those rotors are good. Make sure they're working right. Make sure everything's up to snuff. One thing is, if your tires on your trailer too are over 5 years, it's highly advisable to just replace them. These tires are typically cheaper Chinese tires that are put on these boats, and just all trailers, travel trailers, everything in general. Replace them, get a good tire. It's not that much money, and you don't want to have a blowout. Another thing is on your boat trailer, check your winch strap or cable. Make sure it's not frayed or bad, and just make sure that it's going to be good. Make sure you lubricate those moving components. That's good. Here's a big one. Electrical systems. Go through and check your electrical. You don't have to inspect every single wire, but look at your batteries. Pop open your battery compartment, check the connectors to your batteries. Are they all corroded? Do they have a bunch of crap all over them? Do you need to wire brush that off? Do you need to take your batteries, the connections off your batteries and clean them out and put some lubricant on them? That's not a bad idea. I actually did that this year. Cleaned them all up, just inspect them. You spray them down with some cleaner. Look at each piece of every electronic connected to that and just see, is it corroded? Is it looking good? If it's looking good, you're good to go. Sometimes it's good to take them apart and just wire brush them off. Keep them nice and clean. Now, obviously, you want to check your wire, make sure that nothing's got, a hook hadn't gone through one of them or something like that, but check your fuses. Make sure you're carrying spare fuses. It's never a bad idea. You have something go out when you're out on the water, and if you have your spare fuses, you pop a new one in, you're good to go. When I bought my boat, I went to plug in like the little USB to charge a phone and it wasn't working. I go, what the heck? Well, it was just actually a swapped wire. So, there's little things like that. If you don't check them, you get out there and you're like, whoa, what's going on? And, charging your phone isn't that big of a deal, but it could be something bigger. So just go through, make sure everything works, make sure everything's good. Things happen. Dielectric grease is your friend. Putting dielectric grease on your connections is going to save you a lot of heartache, especially if you get things really wet. Checking all your switches, make sure everything works. If you need to swap a switch out, they're not that expensive. They're not hard to do. And you rather know now than get out in the water and hit your bilge pump switch and it doesn't work because it's corroded. Don't let that happen. Also, is another one. Check your cable tying. Is your transducer cable still good? Is everything connected right? Do you need to zip tie anything up? Do you need to rewrap anything? Are connection joints on your different adapters and transducers, are they looking good? Are they frayed? Is the sheathing damaged at all? Do you need to tape that up? Just do a little general check on it, just like you would on your trailer or your tires or your truck. Just checking that stuff, make sure it's all good, and make sure there's no major dings or scratches or damage to anything after the off season. All right, another tip. This one is easy to forget. Log on to your Garmin or whatever, Lowrance, whatever apps you have, and update all of your electronics. Make sure everything's updated, firmware updates every year. You don't want to get out there and you start realizing you're having issues with your chart plotter, with your, with any piece of electronics that you have because you haven't been updating them every year. Make sure they're updated. It's going to save you a lot of heartache out there on the water when something all of a sudden your chart screen's not working well and you're like, what the hell is going on? Well, it's probably because you didn't update it. So make sure you do that. And it's going to just, again, save you some headaches out on the water. All right, this one's real important. And this one's real important because if the cops come in and check your stuff, they could pop you with a ticket. So make sure your safety gear is up to snuff. That means making sure your fire extinguisher is charged and not expired. When they check that stuff, they're looking to see if it might look good, it might be green, but if it's expired, then you're actually out of compliance. Make sure your flares are good and they're not expired, or if you have like a digital thing or something. That actually reminds me, I need to check mine. Make sure your life jackets are accessible. Take them out, air them out in the winter. Make sure they're not all moldy. Just for your own sake, you don't want that stuff growing all over your boat. Make sure your throwable is good. Make sure it's not all moldy and nasty. Check your horn. Make sure your horn works. And your anchor rope. Make sure that's in good condition and it's good to go. All right, one thing I do is I run a handheld VHF as well as my main. Make sure your handheld that I have, I have it just sitting in my glove box. Well, make sure yours is charged up if you have one. Don't let it be dead from last season out on the water and all of a sudden you get out there and it's dead because you forgot to charge it. And it is a good idea to have an emergency toolkit. Doesn't need to be something crazy, maybe just adjustable crescent wrench or something, a couple screwdrivers, but maybe little pliers, something like that, but just extra stuff in the event that you get into trouble. It's a big one. Go around your hull, inspect your hull. Look for cracks, look for anything damaged. It doesn't need to be a long inspection. Just run around it, look at it real quick, make sure everything looks good. Check your anodes on your boat. Aluminum boats, check those anodes. Wire brush them if they're looking kind of dirty and old. Wire brush those up. Get those nice and clean so they can deteriorate instead of your hull or your boat. Also, if those things stop working, you're going to get a hot boat and you're going to repel fish. So you really want to wire brush those up. I would not use a wire wheel. I would use a hand wire brush on those. I do that in my service videos, so check those out if you're interested in how you do that. It's pretty easy, but some people like to watch doing that. Check your drain plugs. Make sure they're good to go. Do you need to toss them and get new ones this year because they're all kind of jacked up and bent? Do it. Get new ones. It's not a bad idea to stick your drain plug in and just fill the boat up with hose water. Let it start to fill up. This also kind of flush out any crap that's in there. Check for leaks. That'll help you see if anything's leaking. If something's getting out, if any of your plug fittings are getting out or your cable fittings are getting out, that means water can get in. Check those. Make sure it's not leaking. If it is, seal it up. It's not hard to get some marine sealant and put it on there. And there you go. Next thing. All right, fishing setups. Check those fishing setups. Make sure the rods are all rigged up, good to go. Make sure all your line counter, all your lines, your reels have been oiled. Make sure you got new braid if you need it. Make sure you got everything set up. Are your knives all sharpened from last year you keep on the boat? I went through and sharpened all my knives. I cleaned them all up. Did they have fish guts on them and are they nasty? Clean them up. sharpen them, get them all ready for the next season. Make sure your baits or your scents, whatever you have going, clean it all up, make sure everything's good to go. Try not to forget those things. So hopefully these tips helped you, and you know, even I kind of think about things when I'm going through these. So make sure you check your stuff, and I hope to see you out on the water. If you like this stuff, please like and subscribe. Helps us out a lot. Drop comments if I forgot anything about preseason prepping for getting your boat ready for springer season or for any season for that matter. Thanks for watching.